Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? Welcome back, folks. Welcome back. This is episode 18. That's right, we're back again. Another episode of UK Outpost 31. That's right. Yes, that is right. Correct, folks, and welcome back. Glad you're here. And I'm your host, Mr. Dan. Nostalgia. That's right. And today's film is Roadhouse. Released on the 19th of May 1989. Directed by Ray Harrington. Screenplay by David Lee Henry and Hilary Henkin. Starring Patrick Swayze, Ben Gazzara, Kelly Lynch and Sam Elliott. Performance by Jeff Healey Band. Produced by Joel Silver. Cinematography Dean Cundy. Music by Michael Kamen. Distributed by United Artists. Box office $61.6 million from a $15 million budget. The plot centers when professional cooler James Dalton is offered a head doorman job from the big city lights of New York down to Jasper, Missouri. Frank Tillman has big plans for the ill-reputed Double Deuce and brought in the best in the business to help clear up the troubled establishment. Local businessman Brad Wesley runs a tight ship and has the town under his control, with the aid of his son Jimmy and thugs who cause misery for the locals. Soon, these two egos collide as the stakes are raised, becoming more dangerous, while neither man refuses to back down. This was shot out in California, Canyon County, and New Haven to create a setting for Jasper and the Double Deuce. And there's also talks of it was set in Missouri itself, creating that vibe, which it works. You've got plenty of scenery with Death Valley. There's much to work with, so I could see where they're going there. The Canadian guitarist Jeff Healey featured on the soundtrack and performed on screen and interacted with Swayze or Dalton. And Swayze himself wrote and performed two of the tracks also that went onto the soundtrack. So it's an interesting one. A remake was on the cards in 2015 with Ronda Rousey, the MMA fighter, but it was cancelled, and any hope was dashed in 2016, which I'm glad to say it did, because it was the right thing. I couldn't see it happening. Sorry, not today. And but it did get talks of a revamp in 2021 with Jake Gyllenhaal, featuring Conor McGregor and a few other names. But I hope Silver is involved in the production if they do carry on with that, because I think Gyllenhaal could pull it off. I think McGregor could play the Jimmy role well. That could happen. It's got some options there. We'd have to easily bring back Sam Elliott for something. You know what's got to happen. Might can still do it. They still play Wade. What do you reckon? The mullet wasn't popular with Swayze, resenting the style and the character's appearance in terms of hair. I mean, he didn't like the haircut. Maybe he should have just shaved it off and seen another panda. But yeah, it didn't quite go down so well with the pad. Well, and the story generalises around the new guy in town, seen as the saviour in some form, and Wesley is the town's buddy, letting people know those facts. And that's a basic plot of the story with this when it comes to concept. A bit less with this. Annette Bening was originally cast to play Dr. Elizabeth Clay, but Bennings was quickly sacked due to lack of chemistry with Swayze. And Swayze stayed on because he was going to be the poster boy for this. So Lynch was cast to come in and replace, and went on the full hard run researching the role with full authenticity. All the way. Full authenticity. Studied it. A whole research of, not all of it, but she studied the medical side, how the doctors have, what they've got to do, the procedures, the forms, the fill out. That's amazing. Went through all that for the authenticity of to fulfill a role. Go on. That is a legend. Oh, this Reading track, These Arms of Mine, being used for not only Roadhouse, but they were also used for Dirty Dancing. Again's another great piece of music. A lot of films using great music. This is in the top three, easily. A cowboy bar, Anaheim's being the setting for the Double Deuce. Can't imagine what Anaheim's would be like. Imagine it'd be run better and tidier, I assume. I don't think you'd need Swayze there to help clean that out. Swayze and the other cast all performed their own stunts on set, which led to Swayze unable to accept the Mike Harrigan role for Predator 2. Instead, he starred alongside Demi Moore in Ghost. These injuries he picked up didn't help, even though he went full distance and took one for the team. You know what I mean? That is dedication. It's a shame he picked up his injuries. Otherwise, I would like to see him in Predator 2. That would be an interesting one. A connection to Elvis Presley through Red West, a member of the Memphis Mafia. Not sure they quite are. I'd have to look into that, but it's an interesting connection. Elvis Presley, you'd have to research that to find out, because unless you're an Elvis fan, then aficionado, then hey, you would know these sort of things, you know? You would know. My provocative notion. What was so mysterious about Dalton's past that whenever it got mentioned, he gave off that vibe to say less? Only when it was referenced and never addressed by anyone like Wade or Dalton himself. We got a glimpse of the story being about him and a married woman before having to defend himself and having a gun pulled on him. And this went to trial and things, he was cleared, but there was repercussions. Maybe it was guilt and having to live with this. But he never quite went into why he felt this way, or why he carried it with him. You know, maybe he left something out in the trial. Maybe there was something that was not spoken of. Interesting one, though. It is an interesting one. Roadhouse picking up multiple awards for worst movie categories and so forth, such as director, actor, so on. I think it's a load of BS. That's just me. Seriously, it's overlooked, folks. This is like a kick in the crown jewels, to be honest, because this is a Joel Silver production. Patrick Swayze at the helm, with the face. Got yourself a good cast. Got yourself a committed cast. So I don't know what you could ask for. Honestly, got a good production crew here. Let them know. Be productive. Reviews on Rotten Tomatoes with below half at 41%, with Robert Ebert spoke, not hating the film, but referred to this as a good bad movie. One of those it could go to say as maybe like a go-to on any given night. The sequel, released in 2006, becoming a straight-to DVD special based on Dalton's son, featuring none of the original characters or set in the same time. And I caught a glimpse of this, and I think they mentioned he killed off Dalton, and I think they're going to find out why, but it's never really done it for me. Honestly, didn't do it for me, so I left that one to be. I never even tried to follow it up. A Broadway musical was created in 2003, set in a campy comedy vibe, which, if you're into musicals, suppose you tell me, leave a comment on what it was about. I'm not into musicals, but I'm slightly interested to see how that would have panned out as like a Broadway musical. So yeah, that'd be interesting to at least tell me something a little about it. I'm not ever going to watch it though, so make it there. Family Guy had parodied or referenced this film on multiple occasions, basically stating Peter is a big road race fan. So are we, aren't we, folks? Let's be honest. So are we. No, let's make no bones about that. The motto, be nice, was adopted by the NYPD in terms of dealing with crowds and hostility and so forth, going forward after the death of Ghana, which was, I don't want to really talk too much on that, but this was adopted, be nice, until it's time not to be nice comes in. Swayze was mobbed by a group of women around with the fight scene with Jimmy by the river, and I would imagine at night the truck pulling up with real women jumping up. That's fine. That'd been a funny scene, even if they'd filmed it. That'd been funny just to put on the deleted scene or something. And of course, Joel Silver has always created magic for many decades, and he's defined childhoods. His craft and talent is endless. When you think of the stuff he's put his name to, with The Nice Guys, Book of Eli, The Vendetta, Matrix from 1 to 3, The Losers, Demolition Man, Assassins, 13 Ghosts, Lethal Weapon 1 to 3, Predator, Hudson Hawk, Last Boy Scout, one of my favourites, Weird Science, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Executive Decision, and The Gunman. I mean, that right there, it's impressive. I mean, I've seen all of those films, probably all of those films too, on disc. You know what I mean? So this is impressive. Impressive for someone who's worked for the 70s, right there, started this career in the 70s, and then for the 80s and 90s has just made magic. Like I said, he's defined and created. He's given childhoods of great movies. I'd like to say thank you to that. Thank you to Joel Silver, man. And let's get to my an overlooked film due to its simplicity for plot and story. One man standing up against the establishment. Dalton serves as a character. It gives the film the necessary balance. Swayze brings screen presence to each scene. The man with a mysterious past, the drifter. If the Black Widow biker gang turned up, he would have turned them over on his own too. Ben Gazzara has a range and depth as an actor that you don't often see, and I think he's a very underrated actor. You can see through his facial expressions, and he's got shed loads of appeal. Everything about the way he portrays Brad Wesley, man with few words, and he's also in a similar way. You see him in Big Lebowski. He plays the pawn king in that. That is, he's good in that too. You have to check that out. Interesting cast. It is an interesting cast. It's a simple time setting, and that is why you get, yes, certain characters fall into that cliche during the 1980s for having typecast villains or personalities. And I love the fight scenes throughout. It's not quite like Jet Li standard, but definitely enjoyable. Wasn't for everyone, but in my opinion, Harrington does a good job directing this, and Silver applying his name to it, brings something to the screen that wasn't commonly conceived at the time. Action movies are mainly being created around the military setting, foreign soil and so forth, with Annie Stallone, Chuck Norris, but casting Swayze as a tough, same-minded doorman with a killer touch, he nails it, folks. Honestly, nails it, and that's my opinion. And I'm going to give this a rating of 3.5 out of 5. So, I hope you've been enjoying this episode. I'm about to jump into my last segment, and hope it's good with you. So, what have you been watching? Well, you got a glimpse of what I've been I've been watching The Gate with Stephen Dove, a classic 80s horror. Definitely might have gone under the radar with some, and it's definitely worth checking out, folks. The puppetry and the effects are amazing with this one at the time, and the budget it was working on. This definitely does well, considering the year it came out and the competition you have to go up against with the likes of Lost Boys and so forth. You know what I mean? Hellraiser. So it did its part, and I would suggest you give it a watch, folks. So I wanna say thank you, honestly, again. I'm always sincere when I say this to you. It's never a facade or a false personality. This is genuine. So I want to say thank you for this subscribing. I've seen the numbers have increased lately, and honestly, it fills me with joy every time I'm checking them on numbers, and it's looking good, and hopefully we can keep increasing those numbers and try and get some likes, please, and if possible, thank you very much. And I hope you like, I hope you share, hope you're telling your friends about this, hope you comment, and please stay well, stay healthy, stay clear-minded in your thoughts, and all the best to you, folks. Until the next time, I'm Dan Nostalgia, and this is UK Outpost 31.